All of those times I've said I wet myself many times on dates, well, I wasn't just referring to bladder movements, no, but I was referring to bowel incontinence. And honestly, there went my confidence. Not just with incontinence, but with dating. But then I thought, no, I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of getting looked at like I just killed someone, all because I took a shit, but in my clothes. What makes me so different? Or those with bowel incontinence too? Because we don't function off a schedule? Brain fog?
Starts to grow like all these insecurities of not knowing why you're just not the norm. Hey guys, so in this video I really wanted to talk about something that just hit really close to home for me. I really wanted to talk about this specifically because I feel like bowel incontinence is not really talked about much in society. Bladder incontinence, yeah, to a degree, but the bowel incontinence, it was really hard for me to want to talk about this because I just didn't know how to approach this topic by smiling and laughing about things, you know what I mean? Because every single time I talk about bowel incontinence very briefly in some of my videos, there's always that one person asking me the 5 W's, like the who, what, where, when, oh, and the best of all, the why. Why did it happen? Just I don't know, I just can't. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to deal with the diaper police right now. So I was like, you know what, I think I need to film this video, but film it in a way where I'm able to add humor to the video to get you guys smiling and laughing maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so I call this video Dumping the Stigma, one load at a time, bowel incontinence edition. And that was just my way to smile about something just out of my control. And bowel incontinence has honestly been a lot harder for me to deal with than bladder incontinence has been. Hence why I barely really talked about bowel incontinence. It was only a few times in a couple of my videos. So in this video, I wanted to shed light into talking about bowel incontinence and dedicate an entire video to this. So before I begin this video, I did want to mention 2 things. One of them being, I do have a super thanks feature on my videos if you guys want to support your girl, because it'll be very helpful, but it's not something you guys have to do. And then on top of that as well, I do have TikTok that I just created about 2 weeks ago. So go and follow me on TikTok as well. I'll put all those links down below. And then, is that all I have to say? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, but yeah, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And for now, I hope you guys enjoy this video.
Phase number 1, the uninvited chaperone.
I wanted to call the first phase the uninvited chaperone, specifically because the uninvited chaperone is literally what it was, at least for me. When I would go on dates, this goes back like 7 years ago, I would go on these dates and I would have bowel incontinence in my clothes. It was just very embarrassing. I felt so much shame, so much fear, so much anxiety I just didn't know how to deal with, because it's like you go on this date, what you would think would be one of those butterfly moments ends up being one of those nightmares in disguise, because you just took a shit in your clothes and the uninvited chaperone is literally sitting right there with you. Like, quite literally. How are you supposed to, like, ever so casually tell the person you're going over to the bathroom without him noticing you just took a dump in your clothes? That was just very traumatizing for me. It wasn't even just on dates, but it was just every single time I would step foot outside when I was first going through bowel incontinence. And that was really hard for me because it was taking a lot on my mental health, and I just didn't know how to put myself first. I didn't know how to love myself. I just felt like I was broken, if I'd be completely honest with you. And it was even harder for me as well because I was already dealing with an autoimmune disease. So it's like, what do you think about first? Your autoimmune disease or like the bowel incontinence and the incontinence in general that it comes along with? Because it's like, I just wanted to think about one thing at a time. It didn't happen that way, and I just had to learn to adapt to the things that just were out of my control. It was very depressing. I just didn't want to talk about it with anyone, in which I didn't. But it's like, not having talked about my difficulties with walking was a lot easier to have dealt with because no one knew why I was walking odd, right? But what the hell are you supposed to say when you have literally dump sitting in your underwear while you're going outside. It was just so embarrassing. It's like, I remember going on why did I think it was okay to talk about this? I don't want to talk about this anymore. I need a minute. The uninvited chaperone, honestly, it affects your mental health. Specifically because it takes an emotional toll out of you, where it's like, you go through anxiety, you go through fear, you go through depression, all of these emotions that come along with what you just don't have control of. And it's really hard too, because in society, you're taught to be potty trained at 2, and here I am at like 27, not being able to hold in my bowels. But it's fine, because you know what? I wear diapers now, right? But at the time, 7 years ago, I didn't have any protection. The social isolation as well, right? Where it's like when you're first going through bowel incontinence and you let it all out, especially outside in public, it does a lot to you mentally, where it's like it comes a point where you just want to be like, you go through social isolation. And I'm already like kind of like somewhat of an introvert. I like being under my rock a lot of the times, but when I need to talk to people, I'll know how to talk. It's just, can you come under my rock? Because I don't want to talk outside right now. It's like the loss of, I can't even speak, I'm getting stressed out. The loss of control and unpredictability was the hardest part with both bladder and bowel incontinence. But bowels were just much worse for me too. I have mentioned in previous video about how I've had bowel incontinence, and with me, my bowels don't come out like a wet chunk of bowels. This is probably so TMI to some of you, but I mean, if you're watching my video right now, you're in for all the TMI Pri has to say in this video, because there's a lot. My bowels come out in pebbles, okay? So when I wasn't wearing protection, you guys, it wasn't that it all just fell out of my clothes like plop, but it rolled out of my clothes. It rolled out, you guys. So it's like, as I would walk, it's like I'd be laying eggs as I would walk. And I say eggs because my bowels came out in like little circles, and it still does. And it's like, how much more time do I have left? I just know. The uninvited chaperone, honestly, it affects relationships, whether it being with a partner or whatever relationship you're in, with someone or something. This is like me trying to be inclusive with everything at this point. Your daily life. And it's like, do you guys see why I'm always under my rock? Because it's like, dude, I don't even need to be like having all this anxiety because the bathroom's there, the diaper's on, and it's like we're good.
Phase number 2, the rude awakening meets the blessing in disguise.
That rude awakening that I thought was a rude awakening was actually a blessing in disguise almost. I'm writing this down because I liked what I just said. Okay, okay. And this, how do you spell disguise? Okay. Where's autocorrect when you need it? Okay, cool. The rude awakening. It's the initial shock. When I think about the initial shock for me, when I first experienced bowel incontinence when I was outside, it wasn't even when I was inside the house. I was outside and I felt myself just pushing out those pebbles. But basically just pushing out my bowels, right? And it was hard because in that moment I remember thinking, Pri, what the heck are you doing right now? Gosh, I can't control this. It was hard because for me, I have bowel incontinence and bladder because of multiple sclerosis. So I didn't know how to adapt to a new norm because it was taking a lot on my mental health. There's just so many things that I wish I had known when I was first going through MS in general, leading up to incontinence. It was a rude awakening because it was as if I had to learn through the mistakes that I'd made to understand how to help myself. And sure, it was depressing in that moment, but when I do look back on it today, yeah, I feel bad for myself when I think about those moments, but I do laugh about it too, because I'm thinking good did come out of having incontinence for me, because on top of all these accomplishments I've had, I've been able to make so many friends that I've never had before.
Phase number 3, the sensitive issue.
It's come a point now where you realize you can't struggle in silence because people start to wonder what's going on. And I'm not just talking about difficulties with walking. I'm talking about the fact that you just smell like shit pre. No pun, you know what? Pun very much intended, honestly. But seriously, like it was traumatizing. The world is built so that the societal expectations are just held at a higher standard, where it's like you need to be the norm, and if you're not the norm, you just don't fit in. And when you have bowel incontinence, I'm sorry, but you really just don't fit in. Just take a seat. It's literally what it felt like for me. The part where you go on a date where you just think, pre, whatever you do, just don't take a shit in your clothes. He's gonna notice. Worst of all, it's not even that he's gonna notice, he's gonna smell it. And it's like, you're just gonna smell like shit. This was really hard for me because with the bowels, the odor does come along with stigma. And you just get looked at like you're dirty no matter how hard you try to hold it in. Your muscles down there just start to push it out and you just can't control it. I don't need to explain it to those of you watching this video right now, because if you're watching my video, you probably have incontinence too. So you know what, we're in this together. This was really hard for me because it's like, even when I would have the bowel movements outside while not wearing any protection, it was really hard because sure, sometimes it was easy to cover up, but the smell was horrible. It literally just smells like you took a dump. And it's like, people look at you weird, and trust me, people looked at me very, very weird. And it was hard. It's like, I just wanted to fit in. You know, like growing up as a kid, I never had friends. And then just going into university, I also didn't have friends. But did I just not have friends because I just smelled like shit when I wasn't wearing protection? Or did I just not have friends because I'm just an awkward person? Probably a bit of both, honestly. Oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about this anymore. So as I say, the odor contributes to stigma. You essentially get looked at like you're dirty, right? And the one thing I had a hard time understanding, especially early on when I was first going through bowel incontinence more specifically, was that there was a way to help myself, but no one was educating me on this.
Phase number 4. Shit happens, a gut feeling about the gut microbiome. After 6.5 years of being vegan, I've learned that becoming mindful was key. Some foods are like unwelcomed guests. They overstay their welcome and make a mess. But hey, being vegan wasn't just about the animals or the fact that I've been allergic to eggs since birth, but it was also about becoming mindful with my bladder and bowel function, in addition to having an autoimmune disease. Now, let's talk about incontinence and confidence. It's not about the diaper, but it's about your mindset. Loving yourself and accepting things beyond your control goes a long way. People often focus on the right products, but what about the gut microbiome's role? Why doesn't anyone discuss how food affects incontinence? A diaper that doesn't hold odor very well might not even be the diaper's fault. It could be what you ate. Like, think about it, what you eat must come out, right? Eat spicy food and I'm sure you're in for a fiery dump. If you know, you know. As someone living with both bladder and bowel incontinence, I've learned to take control by being mindful of my diet. It's about balance and understanding my body. Diapers help, but I found empowerment in managing my symptoms through food choices. By nurturing the gut microbiome, I could potentially reduce my reliance on products like diapers. But it's not a cure-all. Living with a chronic condition means accepting the unpredictable. My approach is about self-care, self-awareness, self-love, and finding ways to live with dignity despite challenges. It's not just about managing symptoms, it's about owning my experience and finding confidence in my own skin. This was my way to take control and not be controlled by incontinence and an autoimmune disease.
In 2019, I went vegan, okay? And I'm literally pulled this out. Like, I'm so proud of this. Okay, this is my 2019 planner. Oh my gosh, that was 6 years ago. Stop it. Okay, incontinence for 6 years. We're going strong. I literally have a video on this too, so I'm not even like get into what I wrote inside of here because I need to go watch that video too. I wonder what I talked about. This is the book where I was studying my body, like quite literally. Like everything is like so nicely organized. We even have labels on the side over here from all the way from January to December. We have some highlights. I think the highlights represented something different. I think the highlights some days I chose a different color if it was a little hard to maintain my incontinence. But it's fine, okay? We're learning as we go. Just becoming mindful of our own bodies will take you a long way. Now, I'm not saying it's going to stop your incontinence, but it will help. So that's pretty much it to my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this video, because I'd honestly love to hear from you. But yeah, so go check out my TikTok. Follow me on there if you also haven't already. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube as well. You guys, we're almost at 10K. Like, if we could get to 10K, it would just mean the world to me. Especially because I'm not just doing this for myself, I'm doing this for all of us. Not even just with incontinence, but for those of you with disabilities, or maybe just like seeing me smile and talk, and I don't know, hi. But yeah, so go and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on TikTok if you also haven't done that either, because the support really would mean a lot to me. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. That will be up soon. So bye guys.
In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, I really wanted to be talking about something in the hopes that this could make you smile if you're having a bad day with your disability, incontinence, or heck, maybe even if you don't have that and you just need a reason to smile today. I hope I could be that reason. So let's spread some positivity and self-love. Oftentimes, I feel like it's so easy to forget about ourselves, especially while you have a disability or even incontinence. We can all be held back by our own thoughts and societal expectations, which can contribute to mental health challenges. But what can we do to break that cycle? Why do we choose to internalize ableism and stigma, let societal expectations dictate our self-worth, prioritize others before ourselves, and struggle with self-acceptance and self-care? So, I figured I'd go first. I just feel like it's so important to prioritize self-love, self-care, self-acceptance, and most importantly, self-advocacy. One of the things not a lot of people will talk to you about, especially shortly after diagnosis, is that you have to be your own advocate, because no one else is going to do that for you. And trust me, without being your own advocate, you're going to struggle with your mental health, because I've been there. I know what it feels like. But by doing so, it'll help you build resilience and confidence, the two things that many of us oftentimes struggle with due to societal expectations and stigma surrounding disability and incontinence. So, let's take control of our narrative, prioritize our well-being, and advocate for ourselves, because we deserve to live our lives on our own terms.